And we are back at it. It is Thursday, the 17th day of October, 2024. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Good morning to you. A little on the cool side, 41 degrees, which is actually our normal overnight low. So it feels cool because it hasn't been cool, but it has that certain crispness and biteness in the air. It's going to be even colder at this time tomorrow morning. On Friday, we're going to show you a PTZ shot at the top of Dirty Face Mountain, which has snow on it. Currently snowing on Stevens Pass. It's not sticking to the roadway. The temperature is just too warm for the snow to actually stick to the roadway on Stevens Pass. But as predicted, they're getting a little bit of light snow. It won't last very long. Very unsettled weather forecast is coming up. We're going to go all over the place, temperature-wise, precipitation-wise. It's all out there. It's mid-October. This is what you get. News? Yes, lots. Sports. Dodgers just romped over the Mets last night in Game 3 of the National League Division Series, both National League Championship Series. Both championship series have games today, plus we'll take a look at the prep schedule. And in case you missed our conversation earlier in the week with Pastor James from the Grace Lutheran Church and one of his parishioners, John McQuaig, they are commemorating Dietrich Bonhoeffer this weekend, the German theologian and religious figure who fought Hitler and lost, but his teachings continue on. They're going to have a fascinating series of events at the Grace Lutheran Church over the weekend. We wanted to play that interview for you again because I think it's important stuff. We'll have that for you in the back half of the program. Pause for pets because it's Thursday. Enzo the dog needs a home. Our tour begins now. With our Wenatchee Heights camera zoomed all the way out, you can see the bank of clouds up near Chelan, and pretty much that's all we have right now. It's a very pleasant morning. It'll be sunny today, although temperatures will be below normal, not dramatically below normal, but cooler than what we're used to seeing. The rain is going to come till Friday night, but the weekend looks like it could be fairly wet, especially on Sunday. I told you that there's snow on top of Dirty Face, and there it is. Dirty Face Mountain, high above Lake Wenatchee. A little dusting of snow there. It's not currently snowing now, as you can plainly see, but temperatures, what is it up at Lake Wenatchee? It's not that cold right now. It's 35 at Lake Wenatchee. And there, of course, you can also see some snow in the Cascades behind Dirty Face. I don't think we're going to see any snow from the Billy Goat camera, even if we could. The camera has so much information in there. There's so much real estate for you to look at that I don't think we could even pick it out, but then, to my knowledge, there's not any. Right now in Omak, you're checking in at 39 degrees with some high clouds there. It looks like most of the clouds are relegated to the upper half of our viewing area to the north of us. If we go down to the Wahadas camera, quite a bit to the south of us, they have patches of blue skies. Looks like right now the Wenatchee Valley has most of the clear skies right now down near Royal City. Just a few high clouds, and they are up there a ways. The outlook for the rest of the week from the National Weather Service, graphically speaking, there you go. Overnight lows in some locations tomorrow morning at this time, and some of our viewing locations could actually be in the 20s. We're not going to be that cold. We will be in the 30s, and we haven't seen temperatures in the 30s since I think about March. So we are going to have a cool period, then we're going to have a warm period, and then we're going to have a cool period. It's going to be all over the place. And as I mentioned already, mountain snow not sticking to the roadway at Stevens Pass. I brought up the Stevens Pass camera from the DOT. It is snowing, but it's not sticking to the roadway. The roadways are bare and wet, and there is your snow overnight. And it's going to snow lightly up on Stevens Pass for another couple of hours before that system passes through. From the National Weather Service, your forecast in detail. We're probably going to be dry today. We're going to see some clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon, kind of what we had yesterday. We'll top off at 57. Yesterday's high was 64, so cooler than it was yesterday. 37 for the overnight low tonight and 35 perhaps on Friday. It's going to be chilly. As far as rain Friday night, it's a possibility. It's a 50% chance of rain on Friday night. For the football games, if you're going to be out and about, could get a little wet. So just a heads up on that. Then we bounce up to 67 on Saturday with sunshine most of the afternoon. It'll be cloudy in the morning on Saturday, but sunshine in the afternoon. 40% chance of rain Saturday night, 50% chance of rain on Sunday, and mild temperatures, very mild. Then we cool right back down again, and we could actually get down to the freezing mark overnight Tuesday into next Wednesday morning. That is your forecast. After a break, the news. You're watching the Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Want to stay up to date on the latest news in the area? Tired of paying for your news? Download the NCW Life app now. No subscriptions necessary. Get news, weather, sports, and more live as it happens. Available for iPhone and Android in the App Store. Local news at your fingertips. Don't miss the stories that matter to you. Stay connected. Download the NCW Life app now.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa. Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for this summer. Call today to schedule a free consultation for a custom San Juan fiberglass pool. And let the experts at Blue Lagoon handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your boring backyard into vacation paradise this summer with industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa.
Medicare annual election period is here, and the rumors are true. Health Alliance and Assurance Northwest Medicare Advantage plans are not available beginning January 1st, 2025. Now, there are 2 new Medicare Advantage plans that will be replacing them. But to quickly answer many of your questions, go to our website and click on Plan Termination. You can also come to one of our sales and education meetings. You don't have to be a current client. We'll be providing everyone a folder with step-by-step instructions on finding a new plan for next year.
We just dropped down to 39 degrees during the commercial break. We'll be mid-50s anyway today with quite a bit of sunshine. We're going to warm up a lot, but we're also going to see more rain for the weekend. And next week looks like it could be pretty chilly. It's 7 minutes after the hour. A heavy police response on Tuesday. You remember this? Now we know what it's all about. They nabbed a Wenatchee motorist carrying what police say was a supply of fentanyl and other drugs. This happened about 4:30 on Tuesday afternoon when the Columbia River Drug Task Force and the East Cascades SWAT team pursued and then stopped a vehicle being driven by that man, Osvaldo Verduzco Mendoza, 30 years old, near the intersection of South Mission and Benton Street. Ryan Moody is the Sheriff's Department chief who oversees that task force, and he says Verduzco was wanted on warrants and initially tried to flee from a coordinated traffic stop. Police used a pit maneuver to disable the small SUV he was driving. Inside, they allegedly found saleable amounts of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and illicit prescription pills. Verduzco has yet to be charged, but he remains jailed on warrants stemming from an earlier conviction for drug possession with intent to distribute. The police operation stopped traffic along South Mission for about an hour on Tuesday afternoon. Chelan County now has made it illegal for motorists to cut across parking lots in order to avoid red lights at county intersections. County commissioners passed an ordinance on what's called intersection avoidance, and that makes it an infraction to intentionally navigate around an intersection using parking lots, vacant lots, or other property. It makes the county one of only 5 jurisdictions in our state to adopt such a law. The law would apply not only to the unincorporated areas of Chelan County, but in Chelan County towns that are patrolled by the Sheriff's Department, which don't already have a law like that on the books. A ticket for committing the offense costs you an automatic $139. Washington has unveiled a 5-year strategic plan to address homelessness in the state. The plan put forward by the Department of Commerce intends to strengthen the system that responds to homelessness. They're going to invest in 90,000 emergency housing beds and coordinate homeless outreach with behavioral health and other social service providers. Commerce Director Mike Fong says the framework is meant to help the roughly 200,000 Washingtonians either experiencing homelessness or housing instability. It was developed in part by taking input from people who've experienced homelessness themselves. Let's take you back to August. First of all, the August primary, the results pitted State Representative Mike Steele against fellow Republican Daniel Scott, who's a former city council member from Kashmir. They're both in the race for the 12th District House of Representatives. And then later in August, Stan's Mary Mart announced it would no longer sell firearms, saying a new law requiring gun dealers to install added security would add too much expense to their overhead. So we asked Steele and Scott about that law, which was passed back in March, and whether that law is going to be revisited or needs to be revisited when the legislature reconvenes in January. You can catch the full interview by going to our website, ncwlife.com.
It's probably very unlikely in the majority makeup that we have in the legislature it will be revisited. What I will say is what I've always maintained, and I've had this conversation with folks who reside on all sides of the political spectrum. You know, it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. And we have to figure out ways to make people more responsible with firearm ownership, but we can't restrict their Second Amendment right. And we need to understand that criminals will always figure out a way to get access to the tools to hurt or harm. And it's the law-abiding citizens that are not doing those things. And so punishing law-abiding citizens when you have criminals who are ignoring the law and going to find a way to harm people no matter what is not a solution. And so making it harder to do business in Washington State, making it harder for responsible gun owners to have access to guns in Washington State is not the right approach. No one wants to see anyone harmed or hurt. But the reality is it's the tool. It's not the tool that's doing the damage, it's the person behind that tool that's doing the damage. And again, we're not in a place where we're able to keep that criminal honest and say you can only buy in certain ways and you can only buy if you've passed this background check. They're not adhering to any of those things, no matter what laws we pass in Olympia, no matter what laws we pass in the US Congress. Those folks are still going to figure out a way to commit harm if that's their intent. And so I think we have to be real with ourselves and make sure we're honest in that conversation. And that's a hard conversation to have because you want to figure out a way to solve these problems and you want to pin it on something. But the reality is human beings are who they are. And you know, if we had ways to make it harder on the criminal, we should be looking at that. But we should not be penalizing the law-abiding citizen in our state.
Well, what problem was the state legislature trying to fix when they enacted this law? There really wasn't a problem there with these gun dealers. The gun dealers are well regulated. They're very good at what they do. The state legislature is simply trying to make it more difficult for honest citizens to buy firearms, make it more expensive to buy them, more expensive for the stores to operate them. And so it's really just coming down to, they're just trying to tighten the noose on eliminating guns within the state. And they've been making these slow little steps, well, even some big steps here in recent years to try to make it more difficult for private citizens to buy firearms and to buy the firearms they want that are legal on a national level. So, you know, they're really not trying to fix a problem, they're just trying to make it difficult. And I understand that if you're in the city, the only thing you see a gun for is used to kill people. But out here in the rural areas, guns are tools. They're tools. You know, out at my house, we see a lot of wildlife come through my yard on a regular basis, from rattlesnakes, coyotes. My wife even saw a wolf in the yard a year or two ago. We see it all, and for us, it's a tool. But when you're in the city, it's not a tool. So, you know, those city people that are over there passing these laws, they don't see things the way we do. So, you know, the state has been slowly restricting gun rights on private citizens, but to Mike's point, the criminals don't care. Is what we really need to do is enforce the laws that are on the books and really punish the criminals that are out there using guns to commit crimes and do horrendous crimes.
And if you are a registered voter in our area, your ballot is on its way, or will be quite shortly, of course, for the November 5th general election. The statewide voting period starts Friday, and that's the day Chelan County Auditor Skip Morris says ballots from his county are going to get mailed. Douglas County Auditor Thad Duvall placed ballots in the mail for his voting constituents a couple of days ago. You need to complete your ballot and get it back to your local election office by 8 o'clock on Election Day, whether by mail, by drop box, or in person. There are 7 drop boxes in Chelan County, 8 in Douglas County. Don't forget to go to our website and check out all the interviews that we did, because we think it's important that you be an informed voter. And that's the news on this Thursday morning. The news will come your way tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the evening news. 5, 6, and 10. If that doesn't fit into your schedule, don't worry. You can point and click on our homepage, our Facebook page, and our YouTube page and watch our evening news whenever you want to, starting at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And if something out there you think is newsworthy, don't hesitate. Send us an email. We'll get it. news@ncwlife.com. Playoff baseball, my favorite time of the year. The latest when we do sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Here's your coffee. That'll be $5.
Thanks.
Oh, it's only $5.
Oh, I like paying double.
Why?
I've always paid more.
You wouldn't pay double for coffee. So don't pay double on your heating bill. Cut your heating bills by up to half when you switch to a heat pump or ductless mini split and get cash back from Chelan PUD plus federal tax credits. Learn more at chelanpud.org/save.
Welcome to the Gilded Lily home, where something extraordinary is waiting. Fall has arrived at the Gilded Lily. Luscious colors of rust, orange, and gold lead you throughout the entire store. Gourmet foods to delight your guests. Stylish linens, handcrafted jewelry. The Gilded Lily home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items for your home, your kitchen, your lifestyle.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Sports at 17 minutes after the hour. The Dodgers took an early lead, never really looked back. Not much of a game last night. They crushed the Mets 8-0. So the Dodgers lead the National League Championship Series 2-1. Game 4 is tonight in Queens, New York. In fact, here is your playoff schedule for the day. If you want to watch the American League Championship Series, you're going to have to take the afternoon off. It's a 2:08 first pitch. Still don't know who's going to throw for the Guardians. They haven't announced their starting pitcher. Of course, the Yankees lead that series 2-0. And as we already mentioned, Game 4 between the Dodgers and the Mets at 5:08 on FS1. Prep volleyball schedule. This is going to be really good. Wenatchee and Ellensburg are very good, and they're going to play each other down south at 6 o'clock tonight in a non-leaguer. Eastmont will host Sunnyside. Moses Lake welcomes West Valley to town. And prep volleyball, Eisenhower will take on Davis in Ike's Gym. In the CWAC, it's East Valley at Toppenish, Sela at Quincy, Prosser at Grandview, and Ephrata at Othello in prep volleyball. Other schools, Kashmir welcomes Natchez Valley to town at 6:30. Chelan welcomes Okanagan at 6:30. Tenaska will be at Cascade at 6:30. And for some of the smaller schools, Bridgeport welcomes Lake Roosevelt. Manson, highly ranked, we'll show that in just a little bit, welcomes Brewster. Garden City Academy will be at Pateris. Orville travels to Cascade Christian Academy. Thorpe will be at Wilson Creek. Moses Lake Christian at Easton. And now to soccer we go. Pretty light schedule. There's usually not a lot of soccer going on. Kashmir, Natchez Valley, and Vale Elementary at 6 o'clock. Earlier in the day at Chelan welcoming Quincy. Brewster hosting Cascade. Okanagan welcomes Tenasket in town. Lake Roosevelt will bring Pateris on board. Bridgeport travels to Orville, and Manson is at Liberty Bell. On Thursday, we always check in with the WIAA RPI rankings. The local football teams in the top 10 in 4A. Moses Lake checks in at number 10. Of course, they will take on Eastmont tomorrow in Moses Lake. Both the Wildcats and the Mavericks are undefeated in Big 9 league play. That'll be pretty good. In 2A, Othello is number 5 this week. In 1A, Kashmir is at number 7. In 2B, defending state champion Okanagan is number 3 this week. Also at 2B, Liberty Bell moving up a notch. They are number 8. And at 1B, Antioch. In soccer, just 3 teams. Wenatchee, undefeated in league, is number 7 this week. Kashmir, undefeated in league, is number 4 this week. And Okanagan in the 1B, 2B combined is at number 8. And look at all the volleyball teams. locally. Wow, this is what I was talking about earlier. In 4A, Wenatchee, the defending state champions, are at number 3. Ellensburg is number 1 in 2A, and these two teams will play each other tonight. That'll be good. Defending 1A champion Chelan checks in at number 1. Kashmir not too far behind at number 4. Defending champion Manson is number 2 this week in the 2B. Tenaska checks in at number 8. And in the 1B, Waterville-Mansfield putting together a good season. And there's the proof. They're number 8 in this week's WIAA RPI rankings. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 20 minutes after the hour. Happy National Pasta Day. Today, a very versatile food. All kinds of different pasta noodles are available. Pasta, of course, traces back to Asia thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Italians eat 60 pounds of pasta per person per year. 60 pounds of pasta per person per year. We eat about 20 pounds of pasta per person per year. I had spaghetti last night, and I think I ate about 20 pounds. Top 10 pastas by popularity. Number 10, capellini, or angel hair pasta. Number 9, fettuccine. Number 8, fusilli. Number 7, farfalle. Number 6, linguine. Number 5, macaroni. I thought macaroni would be higher than that. The 4th most popular pasta, orecchiette, or orecchiette. That's right. Number 3 is pappardelle. Number 2, penne. And number 1, the most popular pasta in the world, is spaghetti. Happy National Pasta Day. I don't know anybody who doesn't like pasta. And where's lasagna and all that? I guess maybe lasagna, I don't know. That's in my top 10 anyway. It's 21 minutes after the hour. Today in history, the Great Flood of London, October 17th, 1814. The Great Flood of London, 210 years ago today, kills 8 people. It was beer. A 22-foot tall wooden vat of beer burst. It knocked itself into another vat of beer. About 200,000 gallons of beer came loose. It was a 15-foot wave of beer. It destroyed the back wall of the brewery, and 8 people drowned in beer in London 210 years ago. I suppose there's worse ways to go. 50 years ago today, October 17th, 1974, the Oakland A's defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers in 5 games to win their 3rd straight World Series. The Athletics joined the Yankees as the only franchises in Major League history to win 3 straight titles. It was a 5-game series. The final scores were 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 5-2, 3-2. What are the odds of that happening? Oakland wins their 3rd straight championship 50 years ago today. 35 years ago today, I was settling down, getting ready to watch Game 3 of the World Series between the Giants and the A's, and the earthquake hit. Here's how it was on ABC 35 years ago today.
And home for the Giants, one of the most spectacular vistas on this continent, any continent. Downtown San Francisco in the background, and we zoom into Candlestick Park in the southeastern corner of this city. For the first time in 27 years, a World Series game will be played in Candlestick Park. The Battle of the Bay continues. Game 3 of the 1989 World Series, the Oakland Athletics against the San Francisco Giants.
Flash forward to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dave Parker barely, by inches, just misses a home run. Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an
We interrupt our regular program schedule to bring you a special report from ABC News.
Good evening, I'm Ted Koppel. Let me try and explain to you what must already be obvious to the millions of you who tuned in to watch the World Series tonight. Take a look at that live picture. That is from San Francisco. That fire presumably has been caused by an earthquake that knocked both the network broadcast of the World Series off the air and has been causing apparently some considerable damage in the San Francisco Bay Area.
This special report came to you from ABC News. We now resume our regular program schedule.
Preparations are proceeding now in San Francisco for resumed coverage of the game number 3 of the World Series. We will get back to it as soon as we possibly can. In the meantime, we will keep you informed of the situation.
I'm Ted Koppel. There has been a rather strong earthquake in Northern California, so strong, in fact, that it has, among other things, knocked out all the power, or much of the power, at Candlestick Park, where the 3rd game of the World Series was being played. But in the overall scheme of things, that may be the very least of things that has happened today. You can see some video there. I gather that's live video of Candlestick Park.
And we are feeling a shock right now, and that shaking in your picture is being amplified by the tremor that has just gone through the top of the stadium. And we are live. They're taking the bases off. 8:41 Eastern, 5:41, and we just felt it out here. We're at ground level. And now 6.5 Richter is what ABC is reporting this shock to be. And it is quite obvious now, that this is not it never has been a baseball story. It is much larger than the events going on at Candlestick.
It could have been a lot worse. You can see the photo there, the collapsed freeway. It could have been a lot worse, but the freeways were pretty vacant. Everybody had gotten off work early in the Bay Area to either go to the game or go home or a local tavern to watch it. The earthquake, the World Series earthquake on this date in 1989. And finally, October 17th, 1992, he was a Japanese exchange student. 17-year-old Yoshihiro Hattori goes to the wrong house. He was invited, he and his friend Webb were invited to a Halloween party in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They went to the wrong house by mistake, and Yoshihiro Hattori was shot to death by the homeowner, Rodney Perez. He thought that he was trespassing with criminal intent. Perez went to trial. He was acquitted. He was later found guilty in a civil court and had to pay up. He didn't have the money. This was a huge story back in 1992 simply because gun violence in Japan is essentially unheard of. Tragedy there. And finally, birthdays. The man who invented the Power I formation while head coach of Wenatchee Valley College. In 1955, he would go on to be inducted posthumously into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don Coryell was born 100 years ago today. Why it took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame, I don't know why, but he was a highly successful coach right here in the Valley back in the mid-1950s. You know her as the Singing Nun, one of the strangest one-hit wonders who took the song Dominique to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 back in 1963. Didn't get any money. She was a nun. She lived in a convent. She was from Belgium. The convent got all the money. She ended up dying poor. Her real name was Janine Deckers, the Singing Nun, born in the state in 1933. Evel Knievel, born in the state in 1938 for a short period of time. He lived in our area in Moses Lake. Evel Knievel died in 2007 at the age of 69. Happy 82nd birthday to Gary Puckett, lead singer of Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, who named their band the Union Gap after the town just south of Yakima. He is 82. We miss Norm Macdonald. It's hard to believe he's been gone 3 years. Norm Macdonald from Saturday Night Live, born in the state in 1959. And the man who created Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill and voices Hank Hill, the hilarious Mike Judge, is 62 years old today. Special thanks to Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. It's going to get cold pretty soon. Are you ready for it? Heat system? Find out. Give Alpine Air a call. They'll come out and take a look. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Still to come, an opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty. They're celebrating the life and the works of Diedrich Bonhoeffer this weekend at the Grace Lutheran Church. We'll have that interview. First things first, Enzo the dog needs a home. It's Pause for Pets.
Pause for Pets is presented to you by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Hi, my name's Corley with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager. And today I have with me Enzo. And he is our, we think, 2-year-old Husky Shepherd mix. And he's super floofy. Yes. We've had Enzo for too long now, about 2 months. He came to us as a stray. So we don't know a lot about him, but we're getting to know his playful personality. Yes. Enzo knows a couple tricks. He's good at sit. He's very treat motivated, and so we think can learn anything really fast. Good boy. He'll stay for short periods, but I think he can improve on that. And yeah, he's a really energetic boy, kind of as per his breed, Husky Shepherd, smart and energy. So we think he'd be a really great hiking companion or running companion. Yeah, I think a really active family would be perfect for him. Loves to play. Because Enzo came to us as a stray, we don't know about cats. Probably not, just because his breed typically finds them way too exciting. So it's unlikely. As for other dogs, he can be selective. He has some really good buddies here. But as with all dogs, adoptions, if you have one, we always encourage you to bring them with you here. And then we can do a little dog meet and greet and see if they get along. You want another treat? Enzo loves cheese and hot dogs. We also have a special right now on our large dogs like Enzo. For the month of October, our Halloween special has them at only $50. So you should take advantage of that. Yes. Enzo is neutered and microchipped, and he has all of his vaccinations. He is fully ready to go. Clean bill of health from our veterinarian here. If you're interested in meeting Enzo or any of our other dogs, we are open Thursday through Tuesday from 12:30 to 6. Or if Wednesdays work better for you, feel free to make an appointment on our website, and we would love to have you come in.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Pause for Pets is presented to you by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Another fall sports season is upon us. Yes, we'll be talking about Eastmont football, but also volleyball and girls soccer. Be sure and join us for the Eastmont Wildcats all season long right here on the NCW Life Channel, your local TV station. Coverage is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Kennedy Real Estate Group, Les Schwab, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, Together for Youth, and Valley Tractor.
Bob's Classic Restaurant and Distillery, established in 1987, where we concentrate on what we do best, creating excellent food, exciting drinks, great customer service, and an imaginative atmosphere to craft an excellent dining experience for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shareable or not, that's up to you. Bob's Classic dishes are handcrafted and full of flavor. Enjoy the experience at Bob's Classic with your family and friends today.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Hello, 3 tickets, please.
Oh, the Discovery Center is free to visit.
So you're telling me we could look at the fish for free?
Yep, that's free.
But how much is it to drive the steamboat?
Todo es gratis.
So you're telling me that we could go play on the playground?
Still free.
It's free.
Exactly. Gratis, gratis, gratis. The Discovery Center at Rocky Beach. It's free.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, some of you know my sweet wife Rosie's heart stopped just about a year ago, and thank God a good pal was with her to do CPR and he saved her life. But another old pal of mine recently died, and I hear that he just collapsed for some reason, and oh gosh, tragically, one of his grandkids found him. Wow, terrible. So considering mortality, now I'm convinced this is not morbid. Considering our mortality is healthy. I really think it's healthy to realize that this is a one-way trip, and ignoring our eventual demise doesn't allow for necessary preparation. And I'm not only talking about the issues of eternal reality. Are our affairs in order? Do we have a will? Do we have an advance directive? Have we arranged for the practical things like making sure the day-to-day issues of our life will be taken care of if we're suddenly gone? That's probably something we should not avoid thinking about. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
At Abby's, it's kind of simple. We're not rocket scientists. We just make great pizza. When you're ready for traditional values, time with your family, and a great meal, you're invited to Abby's. Order at abbys.com. Our family is here for your family. It's fall. Want a great value that doesn't involve pumpkin spice? Try Abby's Barbecue Chicken Pizza. Save and enjoy a pizza with loads of quality toppings to the edge. Your taste buds and your wallet will thank you. Enjoy Abby's October Special at a very special price.
There's no place like home. Because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories. And we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Welcome back to the program. Whenever John McQuaig gets a hold of me and says, Dan, I'd like to do the show, I always say, you bet, John. We'll figure out the topic later on. And when John reached out to me about a week ago, he said, at my church, the Grace Lutheran Church here in Wenatchee, there's a very important programming coming up at the weekend of the 19th and 20th of this month. And he sent me the information, and I said, I'm in. It's a serious conversation. It's going to be an educational conversation. Hopefully, it touches you where you need to be touched. John McQuaig, introduce Pastor James to our TV family, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Pastor James from Grace Lutheran Church. And he's been our pastor for what, 12 years? 12 years, I guess, right? Yeah. So he's been here for a long time, and we're a member of the ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, and we're on Washington Street, and I've been here for, well, since about the early 60s.
As long as anybody can remember.
Yeah, that's right. I guess you were in elementary school when did you say you came over? And
we used to come over after Washington Elementary School got out, and the office manager here, the little side door, which you always had candy in her desk.
So there's a history that goes way back, right? Yeah.
Let's talk about this weekend. Let's talk about Dietrich first of all. You brought the book with you. Just a brief sketch of Mr. Bonhoeffer and how his importance, not only to your church, but what he did and what he sacrificed in the 30s and 40s, facing up against Hitler, which eventually, of course, cost him his life. Give us a brief background, John and Pastor James, if you want, on.
How much time do you have? That's a big question.
It is a big question, but it's an important question.
Yeah. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was an amazing person, and I would say a genius, and dedicated to his faith and dedicated to the church. Very serious individual, and so he was young during the time as the Nazis started to develop, and he was in seminary, and ultimately graduated from seminary and started teaching actually in the seminary. And he was one of the best known theologians in Germany. His father actually was a psychiatrist who was the best known psychiatrist in Germany. So it's really interesting, kind of family dynamic and background. And his family is sort of interesting. His the whole family dynamic was interesting. So he, at the time as the Nazis rose, he helped start the Confessing Church, which was the opposition church, because the Lutheran Church was taken over by the Nazis and by the German government, and so they controlled basically what was preached and so forth. So,
and the Lutheran Church was already fairly dominant even before Hitler's.
Yeah, it's always been dominant in Germany, still is today, and so they had a situation where they had this Confessing Church that was sort of the alternative to that, and Dietrich actually had a call to be in a seminary position at Union Theological Seminary in New York, and he went there. He took a steamship there, or however he got there, and he arrived, and he just could not stand what was going on in Germany, and he knew it would probably cost him his life, but he went home. And so, he only stayed there like 2 weeks. He just traveled nuts. He couldn't even sleep. And so he ultimately went back to Germany and taught he had a kind of a Confessing Church theological seminary called Finkelwald that he taught at, and he had a group of students he was working with there. He traveled all over. He was in England. He was acting, in this book by Metaxas, he calls Bonhoeffer pastor, martyr, prophet, spy. So he was doing.
And he was all those things.
He was all those things. Yeah.
And if you're all of those things, it's not going to take you very long, Pastor James, to land on Adolf Hitler's radar if you're doing these kinds of things.
Yes, part of Bonhoeffer's decision making had to do with conscience. So when he was in the United States for that brief time, his conscience was really eating at him, and in particular, the safety of his own community. He had a twin sister, and there was a very close bond there. But yeah, he really struggled with the domination of culture, and certainly once the extermination, what did they call this? The final solution, right, to the Jewish question. He was so disturbed by that he needed to find ways to address it in such a way that he can help to perhaps change the attitudes and opinions of German citizens. And in fact, he was doing a radio address where he was teaching quite a lot related to this. And midway through his radio address, the feed actually was cut by the German government. And in fact, the seminary can be described as an underground seminary because they needed to educate themselves in a secretive way to try to avoid detection by the Nazis.
They got away with it for a little while, but you're not going to get away with that forever. Yeah. And that was his ultimate fate.
He was ultimately arrested for his involvement in a bomb plot to assassinate Hitler. Yeah.
That was in the spring of '44. He went to prison, went to camp, and still never stopped. No. Even though he was incarcerated in the most ridiculous and terrible of conditions, it didn't deter him, did it, John?
No, and he continued to write too. Yes. He was a very prolific writer, and he's written some amazing books. So he continued to write. He continued his activities as he could, even though he was starving and in terrible conditions. So yeah, he really he kept the faith all the way through.
Is part of this story, and I'll ask you this, Pastor James, is the fact that he almost escaped, because it was just the very tail end, just a couple of weeks before the war ended, when he was finally executed, when he was hung. Just in April of 45, and it was almost all but over. Is that part of it?
He was hanged as a dissident, I suppose we could say. And I think that at that particular point, the Nazis saw the writing on the wall, and so they tried to finish business in many ways. And so that led to Bonhoeffer's death. And then certainly Buchenwald, I think, was the camp that he was incarcerated at. It was liberated by the Allied forces only a few weeks after his own death.
It is an entire weekend of lectures, workshops, and a special sermon by a visiting theologian. Dr. Brocker will be here on Sunday the 20th for a special sermon. Let's do this chronologically. Let's talk about the workshop first of all. It's entitled "With Courage and Humility, Bonhoeffer's Ethical Approach for Us Today." The message still rings true today after all these many years.
For sure.
Pastor James?
Yeah, Dr. Brocker wants to bring some of the perspectives, or we could even say principles, that Bonhoeffer was using in his writings, and help a community at the Saturday morning workshop to apply or to struggle together, really, about how do we look at perhaps some current issues or contemporary problems from those lenses. And so he'll provide a lot of historical background, but also his goal is to help these words come alive, or to remain alive, as we consider what does a faithful response to the world look like in our context.
And there are some parallels between contemporary, where we are today, and where he was 80 some odd years ago. And that brings us to the lecture on Saturday from 7 to 8 o'clock, the political responsibility of the church. We talked about this before the cameras rolled. Every church, regardless of your faith or your denomination, plays some role in contemporary politics, and this will address this on Saturday night, John.
Yeah, and obviously your faith informs your politics as well. Absolutely. Your beliefs, and so it's a combination, right? And so how does the church itself engage in that, in what fashion and how far and so forth, and there's the lines kind of go from very involved to kind of hardly ever mentioned, and so it's just interesting to be able to talk about where does the church stand in that, and how does my faith inform how I respond when I vote, and in political persuasion as well, So yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to talk about. Very, very contemporary topic. Obviously, we're just days from from our election. Some people are already voting.
Pastor James, I have a feeling you want to chime in on this.
Well, as John was sharing, I was thinking that going all the way back in our Lutheran way of approaching the Christian faith, we do often talk about the fact that, in a sense, we are citizens of more than one realm. So we're citizens of the United States, but we're also citizens who are claimed through Christ. And so what are some of those pinch points or intersections? Where are some of the struggles that we might encounter as we acknowledge both of those roles? We can find people who are absolute pacifists or anti-war. We can find folks who will really see the country as being a manifestation of God's will. So it's up to everybody, and also faith communities, to examine their own consciences and to really stay connected to the world and look for ways to improve the well-being of really everyone.
If you turn your back on what's going on and put your head in the sand, you're not doing anybody any good, especially yourself.
Yeah, we have this tendency to just pull away and isolate. And when we think about the example of Christ's life, there was none of that, really. He really involved his love and his healing ministry, his teachings with everybody around. And so we're looking for ways to follow that example and really be involved in the well-being of the neighbor.
All of these events, by the way, we're talking about the workshop on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon, the lecture on Saturday night, which I think is incredibly important. Only an hour commitment there, and you're going to get a lot out of it. And then your traditional sermon on 10:30 on Sunday morning on the 20th. You're going to step aside and let Dr. Brocker handle that. Talk about that.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so he picked a couple of texts, one from the book of Jonah, one from the Gospel of John, John 3:16 and following. And I'm excited to learn more from Dr. Brocker. I'm definitely a novice in terms of Bonhoeffer material, and I'm really looking forward to what he has to share.
And again, all of this is welcome. And this is the Grace Lutheran Church. Anybody can come for any services that they think they want to come to, or just out of pure curiosity. You're the one who pointed me in this direction, John. What are you looking to get out of this weekend? Do you just to learn, just to be more educated? Yeah, to be more educated, get a deeper understanding of Bonhoeffer and his writings and his preaching. You know, basically his works included obviously his preaching, all of his teaching that he did. You know, a lot of seminars, that sort of thing. And then his writings. So there's a whole body of things that you can draw from. You know, it's amazing for a man who died at 38, how much he did. Obviously, he was, like I said, he was brilliant. So what I'm hoping to do is get a deeper understanding. I've read some of his books. You know, I've read a couple biographies on him, and just get a deeper understanding and have a conversation about that too. You know, so how does that apply today to me and to my life and our community? Everybody is welcome to all three. There's no charge for anything. And Pastor James, you wanted to close with something. I want to go ahead and let you do that right now.
So when I was back in college, I read Bonhoeffer's Discipleship. Also, it's entitled The Cost of Discipleship. And some folks might know the term cheap grace. That's one of the terms that Bonhoeffer lifted up in that book as saying, boy, as we engage in the world around us, let's not approach it in terms of cheap grace. So one of the more well-known quotes from his book, I'd like to read that now. Please. The first Christ suffering that everyone has to experience is the call which summons us away from our attachments to this world. It is the death of the old self in the encounter with Jesus Christ. Those who enter into discipleship enter into Jesus' death. They turn their living into dying. Such has been the case from the very beginning. The cross is not the terrible end of a pious, happy life. Instead, it stands at the beginning of community with Jesus Christ. And then here's the most famous part of this quote: whenever Christ calls us, his call leads us to death. And so there's a seriousness to that, and a recommitment to the well-being of the world around us, and in some sense also a setting aside of our own selves for the sake of what God is up to in the world.
John, you're right. Pastor James is good.
I told you that. Yeah, I'm glad you got him on tape. That's great. Yeah, you can feel that commitment, can't you?
I can.
Yeah.
It kind of seeps through there. The setting helps a lot, by the way. I got to tell you that. Again, it's the weekend of October 19th and 20th on the Grace Lutheran Church website. Just Google Grace Lutheran Church Wenatchee. Pops right up. All the information, a good background on Dietrich Bonhoeffer. You can read a little bit about him. You can read about Dr. Brocker, who's going to be giving the main sermon on Sunday at 10:30. Thanks for putting some time out for letting us come down and talk about this.
Well, thank you so much for putting us on. We certainly, this is open to everyone. This is a gift to the community to have Dr. Brocker here and to talk about Bonhoeffer and how we can apply him today. So we're excited to welcome anyone that wants to come.
Yeah. It's a rare opportunity. I'll let you have the final word.
Yeah,
we're in your building.
Some might remember the Albertson lectures that were hosted at First United Methodist for many years. So our weekend is really fashioned around some of that concept, where we bring in a scholar. In fact, Dr. Brocker has been in leadership in the International Society of Bonhoeffer Scholars. And yeah, the invitation is wide open, and we hope that we can see a lot of folks from our community.
It's a rare opportunity. Take advantage of it, people. The 19th and the 20th. Again, everything is on the church's website, everything you need to know. And we will be right back.
My name's Nick Dirk, and I've been a cinematographer-photographer for over 10 years. I got my start at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Without the Tech Center, I wouldn't have got my first job in media production 3 months after I graduated high school.
My name is Charlie Voris, and I own Vortex Productions. My work has taken me on exciting adventures all around the world, and I got my start at Wenatchee Valley Tech.
Hey, my name is Oli Mingo, and I'm the Executive Director at Heirloom Creatives in Wenatchee. I am so thankful for Wenatchee Valley Tech to be able to have my dream career.
Flessenow is a small village in Germany, the heritage home to the Bruders family. Today, the Bruders family call Leavenworth home and make award-winning wines that celebrate the American dream. New Flessenow Cellars has spectacular views anywhere around the property, so bring your friends to taste award-winning handcrafted wines and seasonal specialties. New Flessenow is perfect for any celebration. From their family to yours, stop by this weekend and experience the charm for yourself.
Imagine a science project being done on the kitchen table. Feel the excitement on Christmas morning as the kids race down the stairs to form memories that cannot be erased. Listen for the laughter coming from the next room. Put your family in a new home to make these visions become reality with Coldwell Banker Cascade. Use the Move Meter entering 2 cities and see how a potential move scores based on the cost of living and other factors. Make your dream place a reality with Coldwell Banker Cascade today.
Whether you're building from the ground up or transforming your space with a custom remodel, One Way Construction is your trusted partner in creating a home that's uniquely yours. Your dream home is just a call away. Schedule your free consultation, and let's build something amazing together.
Boy, beautiful start to the day. Look at the sunshine bathing the Wenatchee Valley behind me from our Wenatchee Heights camera. We've ticked up now a couple of degrees. For a little while there, for about 20 minutes, we got down to 39 here in the Wenatchee Valley. We haven't been down to 39, or in the 30s anyway, since last March. It's been a long time. It's going to be even colder overnight tonight. Warm weekend, and then it looks like right now it's going to be a pretty chilly next week, especially when we get to the middle part of it. But first of all, I want to give you a quick update on Stevens Pass. You're good to go. They got some light snow. It never did stick to the roadway. The snow is all but tapered off on Stevens Pass. But if you're a little worried about the first snowfall of the year on Stevens, you don't have to worry about it. It's fine. You can get right over the top without any issues at all, because the snow never did bother to stick to the asphalt. It was just simply too warm for the snow to do that. But they're not out of the woods yet. They can still get a little bit more snow up in the Cascades as this weak weather system passes by. Also, a quick homecoming note, which I guess that does make sense, because last week for the Eastmont football game, we did homecoming. Eastmont and Eisenhower, our cameras were there for the football game. Tomorrow it's Wenatchee's turn as Wenatchee hosts the Davis Pirates in Big 9 football. We will be at Leib Field at the Apple Bowl. It is Wenatchee's homecoming. So we'll not only bring you the game, but all the halftime homecoming festivities. We're looking forward to doing that. So if the weather is a little iffy, we always tell people go to the game. We invite them, encourage people to physically go to the football game, because even though we'll have it on high definition television and monophonic sound, there's nothing like actually being there. But for whatever reason you can't make it to Leib Field at the Apple Bowl for homecoming and your alumnus at Wenatchee High School, you can always watch it right here. We'll take to the air at 6:30 and we'll kick off at 7 o'clock. From the National Weather Service, your forecast one more time. Below normal temperatures today. Our afternoon high is going to be below normal. What you see right now is pretty much what we're going to have. The clouds will get thinner as the day progresses. We'll top off about 57. Our normal high is 61, so a little on the cool side. 37 for the overnight low tonight. That's getting down there. Partly sunny because it's going to be pretty chilly. It's going to take us a little while to get going on the warmth side of things. Even though we'll see quite a bit of sunshine and a little wind, we're going to be cooler tomorrow for the afternoon high, only 55. As far as tomorrow night, rain starting about 7 o'clock, which is about kickoff. There's about a 50% chance of rain. It's going to be cloudy. We'll get down to 43 Saturday. Clouds and rain in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, and a high of 67. On Sunday, we close out the weekend with cloudy skies and a 50% chance of rain. Very mild, a high of 68. We'll go right back up, and then it gets cold again. That's it for us. Have a good and safe Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.